This is Bree here, and I am super excited for you to join me for my new YouTube series. So in this series, we will talk all about my PCS journey as we did a full ditty from Minot, North Dakota, down and back, really, to Bossier City, Louisiana. So I am really excited for you to join me as I share some tips, not just for your typical PCS, but also so that you could stay strengthened in your marriage during a move. Okay, are you ready? We're about to dive in, and I can't wait for you to see my journey as we PCS. Hello everyone. It is Bree Carroll here, and I am super excited that you are joining me for day one of my PCS series. Before we get started, let me just say thank you for being here. This is something new that we're trying out, and I hope that you enjoy it. If so, please make sure that you comment below, that you like and subscribe to this channel. See, I got to get used to saying this. But in this first time doing this, I just wanted to kick things off by sharing the importance of putting your relationship first and prioritizing your relationships even when you are PCSing. You and I both know PCSs can be very stressful. So we don't want to put that stress on our relationship. So of course, I'm going to say my number one tip is communication. It was really big for my spouse and I to communicate throughout this PCS because we had so many different moving parts going. For one, our report no later than date was kind of up in the air. We didn't have orders when we thought we would. He had some medical things that he needed to get done. And really, our overall goal and plan kind of fell short. The reason why I say that is because we found out last minute that we would not be able to get movers in the scheduled time that we thought we would. Instead, we had two options. One, put all of our things in storage, or move ourselves. And of course, because we're here in this series, you know, we opted to just move ourselves. So that was something that we'd never done before, but we took it on as an adventure and committed from the very beginning that we would, one, communicate as well as we could throughout the process, and two, that we would not let the process stress us out, that we would either figure out a new way to handle or tackle the problem that was in front of us, or that we would be super flexible as to how we get to the end result. Like, we weren't tied to having to do things a certain type of way. Our goal was to continue to enjoy each other through the process and not be tied to how we had to pack a box or how we had to do things or a certain timeline, or it had to look like how everyone else has PCS'd and done a ditty before. No. We prioritized our relationship and we found great success, which is why we are sharing this series with you. So like I mentioned, tip one, communicate. I know it's the C word that we always talk about when it comes to relationship and marriage, but when I talk about communication, I'm talking about effective communication. So checking in and finding out how you and your spouse is doing throughout the PCS is hugely important. Having some real talk about, no, this is a bad day, or I really don't like this, I'm really frustrated with what's going on, can be very constructive and helpful for you and your partner. One of the ways that we found this out is in the midst of a PCS, I communicated that I was not feeling it that day, and I did not want to have to cook and do all these other things while the house looked a mess. So what did we do? My husband had this brilliant idea that we could just go out to eat. It wasn't in the budget for that particular day, and we'll talk all about the budget in another episode. But I did want to share that he had the great idea to take some of that stress off and find a new way to do it. When you open up the door to communication, you allow your partner the opportunity to help you figure out a solution to meet that pain point. So I highly encourage that you practice communication and effective communication as you PCS. From little things like, honey, do we really need to take this? Or giving them the respect to throw away their own things as opposed to force the purge upon them. Those are big things that you need to communicate with your spouse during your PCS process. So here's a little bit of what happened during our PCS so that you can see our crazy journey as we did a full ditty by ourselves for the first time. Okay, everybody, it is your girl Bree here, and I am taking y'all behind the scenes. You see my daughters have done my hair, so I am super fly right now, but I am going to let you see something really scary, our closet. So tonight we are actually going to be doing step 1 of this packing project, which is the purge, or as when I interviewed Rachel Luna today, she called it detoxing my house. We're going to use that, detoxing my house. So we are going to do a purge, and the closet looks really scary right now because one, I've been traveling, my husband's been traveling, so we've got like suitcases on the floor, all the things, but I'm going to let you see it anyway. I'm just going to let you see it anyway, and it looks crazy, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, and the plan here, we may do a purging technique, but really we're going to keep it simple with all these things. So you see I like hats. I got tons of hats. Should get down to the floor. You see the shoes are kind of not as organized. We got a bin in here, suitcases on the floor. So just all this stuff we are going to purge because the goal is that we will be able to move and put our clothes, all 5 of our clothes, in our car so that we don't have to deal with clothes in a moving truck. So we're not going to invest in the boxes that I actually really like. So anyone who is moving, they have these amazing wardrobe boxes that you should try out. But we're not going to do that this time. We are going to garment bag and like trash bag basically the entire wardrobe. Now this is doing it on like the fly, on the cheap. Like I said, we don't have a whole lot of time. So we are just committed to going through all these things. This will be the purge is the process for tonight. And then what I'll end up doing, the things that I'm going to give away, I'm going to take some pictures of. I'll post it on the curb alert or yard sale sites that are local to this installation. And if someone says something cool, if not, it's going to the homeless shelter or possibly Goodwill. I have feelings about that. Maybe we'll talk about it or in another episode. But homeless shelter is going to be plan 1. Goodwill, maybe plan 2. I really don't want to throw things away because that just feels wasteful, and I don't want to create a whole lot of trash, even though I feel like I'm going to get a impulse to be like, forget all of this and let's just throw it away. But trying to be very conscious as we go through this process. So this is the behind the scenes. This is the before, again, of the closet. All the things, tons of things. And let's get purging. Everyone, so I am on the way to U-Haul to get a dolly and probably something else to kind of help us move stuff. Yeah, so pack up day. I am en route. I think one of the most important things to note for today is communication. I think my husband and I communicate very well. However, at times like this when we are moving, it is very easy to get frustrated. And one of the things that I'm going to be practicing today is letting go of the how and staying focused on what needs to be accomplished. So I am a planner. I like things to be done in a certain order. And when I get attached to a certain order that I think things need to happen in, that's the way I want to execute it. Well, my husband is completely different. He is very methodical as well. He thinks through the things that need to be done, but it's different from how I would think things need to be done, and we can both get very stuck on the way we want to do it, or what we have in our mind to do. And so yes, I am going to practice that. This is me being transparent. It is something that is going to be challenging, but one of the things we did say when we started this morning off was we are not going to let the move come in between our relationship. And the reason why I think I just need to stop and kind of harp on that a little bit is just because with our relationship, we feel like we can take on this move. Like, this ditty is not something that we asked for. It is something that we had to do. And the challenge like that, we need to rise to the occasion, and we don't need circumstances like these things, because that's what we're doing. We're moving things. We don't need to be arguing about moving things when the reality is we all have the same common goal, which is to get to this next season, enter into this next opportunity, and what the how is this move. So not focusing on the how, or how do we pack this truck, or how are we moving these things, or why didn't you do this, or I feel like I'm packing more than you're packing, or whatever. Trying to detach from that how and really stay committed to the end goal, which is the end goal is for everyone to get to our destination safe and taken care of. We want to make sure that we get there safe. We want to make sure that we get there together as a family, and arguing over boxes is not gonna get us to that end goal. So that is just the observation that I am currently making, that I personally am being accountable for, that I have some work to do in that area, that my husband will be actively working to do on this area. So yes.